All right, a few more definitions here, and then we'll be able to talk about way to measure the power of a voter. So first of all, a coalition here is just a group of voters who vote together, either for or against a measure. So this happens all the time in politics. Representatives or senators, they will try to collect co-sponsors, people that will vote together with them. They're forming coalitions. Veto power here. A voter, this is one voter, a voter is said to have veto power if they are not a dictator, but their vote's needed to pass a measure. So if they vote against a measure, they can block it. And then a blocking coalition is a coalition of at least two voters that don't act like a dictator when taken together, but they have veto power. So again, not a dictator, but their vote is needed to pass something. So let's practice some of these definitions here. So here is our first voting system. Here is another voting system. Again, this is quota, the weight for voter 1, voter 2, voter 3, voter 4. Over here, again, quota, voter 1, voter 2, voter 3, and voter 4 and 5. Voter 4 and voter 5. So remember, that means voter 1 has 45 votes, voter 2, 25 votes, etc. So this quota is 51. Notice that these guys add up to 100, so that's majority criteria. This one, they also add up to 100, but that's 60. That's a supermajority. That's like in the Senate, they need 60 votes to break a filibuster. So that's the kind of situation that we're looking at there. So let's look at first, are there any dictators? So here, are there any dictators? Does anybody have more votes than the quota? Well, you look at the highest voter, voter 1 has 45 votes. It's not higher than 51, so no one else does. So this is a no, because voter 1 is 45, which is less than 51. How about over here? Well, 35 is the highest number of votes. It's not greater than equals 60. So no dictators there either. So no. Voter 1, which is the highest number of votes, is 35. That's less than 60. Any dummies? Anybody whose vote doesn't count? So what we want to do is look at that lowest number of votes for voter 4, its weight. 10, and is that 10 needed to get up to 51? Well, let's see here. If we do 10 and 20 is 30, and then 25, that'd be 40, 55, which would just exceed the 51, and you need the 10, because if you only had 20 and 25, that's 45. So no dictators. I'm sorry, no dummies, because that 10 is needed. How about over here? Look at the 5. Is the 5 needed to get up to 60 some way? Well, let's see. If we put the 5 together, let's see, 30 and 20 is 50. And 10 more would be 60. That would reach the quota. Let's see. What if we put 35 and 5? That would be 40. And then the 20. And that would make 60. So yeah, that there is no dummies there. So no dummies there, because 35, 20, and 5 would get you up to 60. Greater than or equal to 60 passes. So if you find just one combination where the smallest voter is needed, then it's not a dummy. We couldn't do that in the previous example with the 2s. Any voter that has veto power, they can keep something from passing. Well, you look at the highest voters first. So 45, if they withhold their votes, can 2, 3, and 4 pass something? Well, 25 and 20 is 45, and another 10 is 55. Yes, they can. So no, there are no one has veto power, because for voter 1, we could just do 25 plus 20 plus 10 is equal to 55, and that's greater than or equal 51. So 2, 3, and 4 could pass something, even without voter 1, so they can't veto. How about over here? If voter 1 takes out their 35 votes, what do we have left? So we'd have 30, 40, 50, 65. So no one has veto power there either. So no here, because the rest of the voters, 30 plus 20 plus 10 plus 5, they could get together and get 65, which is greater than equal 60, and they pass a measure as a coalition. Any blocking coalitions? So this is 2 or more voters. They're not a dictator, so they don't add up to more than the quota, but they can still block. So let's see here. We want numbers that don't add up to the quota. So we would need 51 votes to pass. So we'd want to have a total of 50. So let's see, what if we do 45? If we do 45 and 25, that's 70. And they'd act like a dictator, greater than 51. So although that does block something from passing, it's not a blocking coalition because it's greater than the quota. Can we get something to add up to 50? Well, let's see here. 20 and 25 is 45, and 10, 55. Again, that's bigger than the quota. I don't think there's any blocking coalitions here. So nothing adds to 50. And you'd want to have exactly 50, because if you got 51, it's a dictator. If you got less than 50, it can't block. Okay, so no, because no sum equals 50, which is what you need to block. Here, you only need 41 to block. So we want to ask, is there 2 voters that can vote together? They don't add up to more than 60, but they have at least 41 votes. Well, not the 30 and the 35, because they add up to 65. That'd be like a dictator. But 35 and 20, that would be 55. And that'd mean 45 votes left, so they could act together. So yes, here's one blocking coalition would be voter 1 and voter 3. They would have 35 plus 20, which equals 55 votes against the measure. And that means there's only 45 votes left for it. It doesn't pass. And that's not the only blocking coalition. That's one blocking coalition. Another one could be, let's see, we need to block at least 40 votes. So 41 votes. So 30, 10, and 5. So 2, 4, and 5 could get together, have 45 votes against. That leaves 55 votes for it, and then it wouldn't pass. Okay, so with these definitions, you should be able to try 7.3 Canvas.